Hello, 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 and welcome to Pixel Fix Level 2, Episode 4 of your favourite podcast and YouTube channel, covering all things retro computer related. I'm Dean, your host, and I'm joined this time by...
Retro Roberto. And me, Andy.
Hello, fellas. How are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Very yourself?
Good. Excellent.
Good, good. Yeah, well, good to see you again. We've got loads of topics to cover this week, including such diverse elements as Briley Witch,
Oh, yeah.
retro pricing, Nintendo 3DS store closure. Did you
Yeah.
hear about that one?
Yeah.
Well, we'll cover that one. The Amiibo Kickstarter news, Ken and Roberta Williams, Level 9 compilation for the ZX Spectrum next.
excellent.
That's quite interesting. Gaming genres, latest museum donations.
Absolutely.
Andy, you've got a corker to show us this
I have,
time,
I
haven't
have.
you?
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Good, good. Can't wait to see you whip that one out. The Mastertronic, stop it, you. The Mastertronic book, Blank Canvas 2, and a question of the month.
Yeah.
So, absolutely loads to cram into this show. But before we get into any of that, let's start with a quick catch up on what we've been up to since we recorded last time. So, Andy, why not kick us off?
So, I've been very busy doing things outside of the museum.
Okay.
So one of the things I've been, me and my wife went to see, James Morrison at De Montfort, and supported by Newton Faulkner, which was amazing. I also went to see Jack Whitehall with my son Julian, and that was amazing. I have to say, I'm not a massive fan of him, but he really did impress me. And his mum and dad were on stage with him, and they were hilarious. It was so funny. And then as a last minute thing, last Thursday, we went to see War of the Worlds, the stage version of War of the Worlds, and it was different people to what we saw before.
Yeah.
And Justin Hayward, who did the original Forever Autumn, was there, and it was one of them. Claire Richards from Steps was there, and it was.
She's lovely, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she's very
Very
pretty.
nice.
Yeah, very pretty.
Very
yeah.
nice, yeah.
And then Duncan from Blue was also, in the cast, and it was just.
Is he nice too?
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
very good. He's got
lovely.
an amazing voice, truly amazing, and did an amazing job. I can't think of the other people in it, but all of them, the amazing singers, and the fact that Jeff Wayne was actually conducting the orchestra was.
That's just
Goosebumps.
because I've got from years back. I've got the vinyl version
I've
of
got
War
it
of
as
the
well,
Worlds,
yeah.
which is awesome because it's
Yeah.
got Richard Burton, hasn't it?
Yes,
doing the
well,
narration.
Liam Neeson does it now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Okay.
so Liam
Right,
Neeson's
that's
an
cool.
hologram
Yeah.
up through most of the production. So he,
I've just got this
Does he
image.
do it in the style of Taken?
I will get you. No,
You aliens, I will find you.
yeah,
Exactly.
And I
Got
will
it.
kill you. Yeah.
But he could also do it as Qui-Gon Jinn as well,
He
couldn't he?
could, couldn't
So
he?
either
Yeah,
way,
either way,
No,
yeah.
but he's again, he's got one of these voices. I think works as good as as good as original. I think personally, but yeah. So I've been, I've had a busy few weeks.
So
and
you've been living life outside of retro
have.
computing. Is that allowed, Rob?
What, having a life?
So something we've both done though.
What, had life? Yeah.
No. In the last few
yes,
weeks,
we've
we've both started new jobs.
Indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's something else we've both done as well. So that's hard work as well. But yeah, love it. So far, so
Done
good.
good.
Stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's true that there is life outside retro computing. Apparently.
Apparently. Yeah.
Rob, what about you?
Well, I'd like to totally contradict what you just said there because I don't have a life, unlike Andy, and no doubt yourself. I've been doing absolutely nothing. Nothing at all.
Yes, but surely you must have finished Briley Witch by now.
Let us come on to that in a little while. No, very little, other than the usual retro game. I've played a little bit of gaming when the wife's gone out. I've had time to, sneak onto the old computer, as they say. But other than that, a little bit of reading. Started reading David Pleasant's book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
Vultures.
The
Vampires.
second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, started reading that. So far, so good. Looks like it's going to be a cracking read. And of
It
course,
is,
the follow-up is due out, I think, in about a month's time.
Something like that,
It's
yeah,
about a
yeah,
month's
yeah.
time, the second part to that. So hopefully by the time I finish this one, because I'm a snail pace when it comes to reading. So hopefully by the time I finish this, the next one will be out and I can carry on with that. But
And we've got some signed copies for sale in the shop.
We have,
Right?
we
So
have,
if anybody would
And,
like...
have.
and the first book.
If anybody would like
Yeah,
signed copies of David Pleasant's book,
I've signed them all,
Get
yes.
in touch with us at
Yeah,
the Retro
exactly.
Computer Museum in Leicester, UK, and I'm sure we can squirrel one your way.
We can.
Indeed,
yes,
indeed.
absolutely.
other than that,
Good.
I haven't got a life.
Bless you.
I'm doing anything else. What
Well,
about you,
I've-
Dean? Go on.
Well,
you can upset me as well.
No, not well. A little
Yeah,
bit, maybe,
yeah, yeah.
maybe. So firstly, I've also been. I went to see We Will Rock You at
amazing,
the theatre.
amazing.
First time ever. My wife, bless her, was meant to take me several years ago. She said I'll buy it as a birthday present, but of course we went into COVID, and all the theatres closed and everything else. So I've been waiting and waiting. Finally got to see it just yesterday. What a fantastic show!
Yeah.
Just
Oh, stunning.
superb,
It's stunning,
superb
yeah, yeah.
singers. You can't go wrong with Queen songs anyway.
No.
Because Rob and I are big
We
fans.
tend to do a
Yeah,
duet.
no,
don't we?
I'm a big fan as well, yeah.
Christmas time we do our duet together.
Absolutely.
Rennie and Renata sort of.
Yes, exactly.
absolutely.
So that's good
It
fun.
is. Oh, good luck.
Yes.
So, did I mention that I'm going to see Simple Minds in a couple of weeks as well?
No, you never.
Yeah, I'm going to do the sound check for Simple Minds. And
The irony of Simple Mind is going to see
Oh,
Simple Mind.
don't. that's just rude.
touche.
And I'm also going to see Paul Weller as well.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
So, Rob, where are you going then?
Home after this,
Oh, okay,
I think.
that's fine.
In a mood.
And I know you're going to come back to it, but I also put a lot of hours into Briley Witch.
And me.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that soon,
bit
very
later
soon.
on. All right. Well, that's good. So, so that's kind of what we've been up to a little bit. So
Yeah.
a bit of a mix.
Yep.
Yeah. you
Rob,
guys.
where are we going to go next, do you think?
Well, I think we should have a bit of feedback from our last.
yes,
our last
quite
outing.
interesting, wasn't it?
Obviously, last time, if you remember, guys, I did an unboxing. An unboxing of a game that I bought from the States called Ikai Warriors. I wanted to point out to people that they're plentiful. It's not something that's very hard to come by. We just wanted the whole feel what it was like to open something up, have a look, get the sniff, get that whole bit of nostalgia going. We had a few people, because I put the question out there, are you for unboxing? Do you think that's a good thing? Or do you think everything should be sealed forever and put in some sort of time capsule and buried at the end of your garden? The majority of people, I think, were pretty much of the opinion, yeah, look, come on, open it up. What's with sealing up? I know that that's an opinion that I share with you, Dean.
Definitely.
I have had some death threats as well. A couple of people want to take me to one of these shrink wrapping machines and personally wrap me back up, which is quite nice.
So that was interesting, wasn't it? Because definitely, when you look at the stats from that episode last time, people were very drawn to the unwrapping, the unboxing of the software. And most people seemed to enjoy it, but there was some dislike. Clearly, there are some people out there who think that we shouldn't unwrap this stuff and it should remain fully boxed and in its wrapping forever.
So,
exactly.
So, if we had something else, for example, what have you got?
Well, I mean,
moving swiftly on.
So we have.
That's lovely,
So
isn't
this is getting on for. So it's 39 years old, 1983.
Can I just say before we get on with that, I have actually bought a shrink wrapping machine, and it's done a bloody good job on this box.
No, this is genuinely shrink wrap from its original condition,
isn't it? It's beautiful.
You can see this, and they are. I mean, we've all used the Atari Touch Pad before on the 8-bit Atari. And it is a fabulous little piece of hardware. It really works nicely. It comes with a cartridge. And I got this off the guy in the States who bought the Atari warehouse full of Atari stuff years and years ago, and has been selling it ever since. And you can still pick these up.
So can I open that then, please?
Well, I think we should let our viewers and our listeners on the podcast decide.
Yes.
I think, what do people think? Should we unwrap this? Should we take it out of its shrink wrap and unbox it next time round?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or do people think, no, leave it alone, leave it all boxed and shrink wrapped, it's 40 years old, leave it forever so it's in pristine condition?
Open it.
I think we need your comments on the YouTube channel, and we need your feedback on Twitter, on at PixelFix Podcast on Twitter. Tell us what you want us to do with it.
Do you know, I'd love it to be opened up and there'd be nothing but rubbish inside.
Well, this is it.
Because I've got to be out there.
Who
There's unscrupulous people out there that presume it must buy this sort of,
is there a
reproduction. That looks like a reproduction box to me in there.
It could be.
It looks far too good condition.
It is in very good condition.
And the shrink wrap looks very naughty. Maybe 1990s,
Do you know
maybe
what? No.
2000s.
No, because it's a bit
No,
of dirt there, look, as well.
We'll see, won't we? We'll
Can you
see.
get
I think it's going to be a dud.
view
If
on
we do open it, I'm putting my money down that you've been had.
You think so?
No.
Yeah. I'm going to have a fiver.
Really?
And I'm going to
Fiver
laugh
down
my
on
head
it.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laugh my head off if there's nothing but polystyrene in there, maybe a
I
brick.
want to open it right now. I literally want to open it.
I'm anticipating the
desperate.
smell of 1983 electronics.
Can I sniff the cartridge, please?
And even if it is in there, does it work? Right?
Yeah.
Does it work?
I want to sniff the cartridge.
Is it still under warranty?
Is that wrong of me?
I think you need some form of psychiatric help
Sniff a
with your
cartridge?
sniffing.
No,
Yes.
but it's going to smell new, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in there and it's going to smell new.
Well, I don't think it is in there. Maybe we'll find it. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what comes
So
of that.
for
yeah?
podcast listeners, we've been showing this boxed Atari Touch tablet. Go to our YouTube channel, Pixel Fix, and have a look if you want to physically, or see what we've been talking about, and let us know what you want to do. Let us know what you want to do.
I want to open it.
Okay.
Just open it, please.
Right, so you've sort of mentioned the word Briley Witch, haven't you?
Yes.
You've mentioned this to me.
Yes,
And
yes, because you asked for help, didn't you?
I did. I was
Rob,
going to say,
on
I
this
put
one?
out a shout last time for some help. In fact, I begged, I pleaded.
Chinnery.
I was almost on my hands and knees saying, help me on this one. Well, I have had some help from Dean, in fact, who's very kindly spent 20 or 30 hours worth of his life playing at Briley Witch, much to, have you actually told your other half you've been playing this game? Was this when you're supposed to be washing up?
No.
Or indeed playing with the daughter and things like that?
No, she doesn't.
So
know.
she doesn't know.
So, no, so because I'm working from home at the moment.
So
during
you
my
hang
lunch
on, you were
break-
supposed to be
During
working.
your lunch-
during my lunch break.
You have a very long
During your
lunch
18-hour
break.
lunch break.
Your Honour,
Yeah,
I spent my lunch break in my own time
yeah.
playing
Yes,
Briley
you
Witch,
did, you
and it
did.
took me 18 hours,
And
pretty
you-
much.
well,
to-
give or
from
take
start
a
to finish
10 hour.
to
And you
get
very
through.
kindly sent me a message and say, Rob, I found that point that you got stuck on,
Yeah.
and you weren't too far away actually from doing what you need to do, but this is what you want to do next.
Yeah.
So I thanked you, and I've named you Games Master, didn't I, for all the 24 hours. And as I mentioned earlier, I've done very little retro-wise, and I've done nothing.
Really?
I've done absolutely nothing about it.
So is it about now that I point out that I finished it too?
It's about now you may point out that you finished it too, if you really wish.
Andy.
That's-
Yeah. So
all I can say is you're a couple of creeps. You've got more time on your hands than you know what to do.
So
with.
Rob has.
So Rob is pretty crap at games, is what we're saying.
So, well, this is something we already know. This is
This
something.
is quite fun.
However,
Yes.
without giving too much away,
Yes.
can you give us an idea, Games Master,
Yeah.
what the end? Just cut through all the nice levels. Just tell me right at the very end what happens, and that'll be fine.
So I will try and do this without any spoilers, but if you are yet to play Briley Witch and you don't want any kind of talk and discussion about it at all, please skip ahead or switch off now.
But we do recommend you play it.
But
It's
we're not
absolutely
going to give. I'm
fantastic.
not going to give away any spoilers,
No, no,
right?
okay.
A gameplay. So towards the end of the game, then, right? There is a group of individuals who get together.
It's
I'm
the
not gonna
witches.
say-
No,
I'm
I
not
know
gonna
that bit.
say there is a group of individuals
You can get that bit.
who get together to cast a particular spell for some particular reason, which then is kind of the end of the game, and then it goes into the end credits. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that's all I'm saying. And the whole of your adventure throughout the world is basically getting to that end point. Yeah.
It's worth playing, Rob.
And am I understanding correctly that there's going to be a follow-up? to
Yes,
this?
she's writing it.
So a second
now.
one's
Yeah.
being written as we speak.
As
So
we speak.
perhaps I can buy that and you can finish it. Just tell me the ending of that one.
tell us when they do that
We'll
one.
ruin that for you as well.
Yeah, you can ruin that.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
I have to
It's
say,
brilliant.
for a to say that this game is fairly recently been released on a system that's 40 years old. She's done an absolutely fantastic
it's
job.
amazing.
It's a
It's
top
got-
quality
The
game.
characters in it, you sort of start believing in the characters in it, and even graphics-wise, it's pretty
great.
special.
Nice.
It's
great.
special.
In the way that the cats, there's different cats in there
it's
that,
amazing.
that have been sort of realised.
What I will do, I will ask my other half for permission if I can have a few hours to maybe play a little bit more.
You will
There's
enjoy
no
it.
way I'm going to get 18 hours. Not that it take me 18 hours to finish. I'm
Probably
probably a couple.
I think
I'm
you
doing
could
a
probably
couple
do
of
it.
hours to finish it. So I will have a word and see if I can.
I reckon you could probably do it in 16 hours if you
In
didn't
16 hours.
mess about and everything
If you
else.
drew out me little drawings of.
But
Anyway.
there is quite a lot of moving from one side of Maypole Village to the other side and different locations.
That's what
But
takes time as
as
well.
you go through the game, your little cat discovers some shortcuts for you. So we'll look out for the shortcuts.
Say no more.
Save you a bit of
Okay,
time.
shall we swiftly move on?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the last few weeks I've been looking particularly at the price of retro goodies and buying things online, like you do.
Yeah.
And I've got one example I'm going to show you before we move on too much with this. Now, this is called The Little People. This is belongs to the museum.
Yeah,
In fact,
and for our podcast listeners, Rob, you are...
I am holding up it's a floppy disk version of a game called The Little People, which if you haven't seen it, go and Google it. It's probably the best way is to go and Google and have a look.
Yeah,
a
it's
lovely
like
little game.
A4 sized sort
It's
of
an A4 fold-out, yeah,
disc,
and inside's got a
kind of portrait
disc.
in there.
It's also got some paperwork. I'm not going to get it all out, but it's got some paperwork and instructions. Paperwork and instructions, all right?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's an
there we go.
amazing game.
Yeah.
You basically
Now-
control a little character.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you can buy these on cassette.
Yeah.
Loads of them on cassette, and I've seen them for about £10 or £15.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's about right. These, for some reason, are £150. Now, this isn't just what they're putting them on there for, because you do find, don't you, on
Selling for
eBay,
their money.
Yeah.
that they will ask for silly money.
Yeah.
They ask for silly
Doesn't
money.
mean they go for that.
These are selling for about £150. 150. Why is that? What's so special about this particular game? I don't know. Yes, I have got a copy as well. Yes, mine cost around about £150 mark. I'll be honest with you, because I quite liked it, and you don't see a lot of them. But £150
But
for that.
haven't you answered your own question? Because you said, why are they going,
you've
and
paid that
you've
money
bought
for
one
it.
for that amount of money.
I bought one because I felt you go on these auction sites, you're up against somebody you don't know, and you think, no, I'm having this.
Yeah.
I'm having it. It starts out at 10, and you think, no, I'm going to have
But
this.
do you think it's something to do with the actual fact that it's a stunning piece of artwork?
And it's quite unusual. You don't often see
even the stuff you
disc
get with
games
it
in
and
that
all the
kind
bits and
of
bobs.
No.
package, do you?
No, I don't think it's got anything to do with that, because Green Beret, now we've all seen Green Beret, haven't we?
yeah,
On the
yeah.
old 8-bits, the Commodore, the Spectrums, they all had Green Beret. Fantastic game. The music was brilliant. Nothing
Yeah.
about it. It was very difficult. Very difficult.
rock hard.
But it was a lovely game. Now, again, on the tape cassette, you can get them for about a tenner.
Yeah.
You know, there are plenty of them. The disc version, the UK disc version. Now, I've been watching these for a couple of years because I'm quite fan. I've got a lot of UK-based Commodore floppy
Yeah, you
discs.
collect-
I collect them.
you collect
So I've
those,
got
right?
quite a lot, and I've got some American ones,
Yeah.
like we looked at last time out. Now, whatever reason, these are going for absolutely stupid money. Now, I will bid, and it has been known, I've paid up to £100 sometimes, a lot of money, for some floppy disks.
Yeah.
And I've got like, Ghosts and Goblins, for example. That's quite expensive. Spy Hunter. But they're lovely. The art's nice. The game's nice. But that's my cut-off point. How much do you think they're going for? And this is sold, right,
Yeah.
Sold.
online
This is
now.
Green
Green
Beret,
Beret.
yeah.
You know,
On Commodore
lovely.
64
on the
discs.
Commodore 64 disc. How much?
120?
Shrink wrapped or just
No, this is
It's
open.
open.
This is
120,
open.
140?
Yeah, so, yeah.
More than 100.
Right, okay. I had a bit of a bid on one of these a little while
Yeah.
ago now, not recently, and I stopped. Like I said, get up about £100. I'm going, even that's too much, you know. £300
What?
What? Sold for £300.
It's sold for
I've
300. That's
seen them.
ridiculous.
Who's buying these things?
Well, this is my point. This is my
Who's
point.
got?
This
I
is my
thought
point.
the world. You know, we've just been in a
So
like,
what's going on?
COVID for the last 2 years. Nobody's got
Yeah.
any money, but
This is
someone's
my
got,
point. So an Amiga TV. This is just
Yeah.
to give you a few examples. Amiga TV, recently sold on eBay.
CD,
Right?
CD,
C-
yeah.
Beg
Yeah,
your pardon.
CD.
CD TV.
Yeah.
Edit that out. Edit that out.
No, that will stay.
Right. Sold on eBay, and we've all seen this.
Yeah.
£1,600. Now it's not boxed. It looks lovely. I dare say it works. It's sold. This is not somebody going, I want 1,600 quid.
yeah.
So this is real stuff.
Wow.
£1,600. Now I've got one. I bought one for about £500 a few years
I
ago.
got two for 200.
Well, there you go. I'm rubbing my hands
And
together.
it wasn't that long ago.
I rub my hands together
One
because
doesn't-
mine's got
I mean, one
box.
doesn't work, one does.
But
That's
we don't.
£1,600.
But obviously, we don't buy this kit to resell it and make money.
No.
We buy it because it's part of our collection.
I tell my wife it's an investment.
Of course.
It is. It really is. You've proved it.
an
You
investment.
just proved it, though. Yeah. Because if you sold yours right now, you could make a massive profit.
Yeah. If I
If you decided
if
to.
I
If
wanted
you wanted
to
to,
sell it.
yeah, that's
But 16. So all right. So an element of this has got to be that fight. I'm going to have that.
Yeah,
I'm going to have.
yeah.
It's going to jack the prices up. But has the world gone mad?
But
I
is
mean,
your-
that's just Commodore stuff.
Is your
and Amiga stuff.
collection though going to be an asset for your two lads who are going to inherit your collection that you've
I
saved up?
don't think I can say on this podcast exactly what my boys think of retro gaming.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm
I can
kinda with you there.
articulate
I can
nice,
sort of
sensible
sympathise
words.
with
Let's
that,
just put
Rob.
it like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
No, they couldn't give a monkeys.
Yeah.
And it's my wish that my collection will come here at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, mine will as
All
well.
right.
You know, in a very, very long time, I hope,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
anytime sooner.
yeah.
Talking about the bus crash last time. As well.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that aside.
Yeah.
So no, it's and as to what my collection's worth, there's a lot of it. Who knows? But £1,600, £300 for a disc. Has the world
But
gone
are
mad?
we, if any of us, right, and this goes to you as well, if any of us go online and go onto eBay and we pay, we bid for these things and we win them, are we not just guilty of doing exactly what we've just talked about? Essentially pushing the price up of all the retro equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
I mean, it's true of collections in general. I mean, it's not just retro gaming, it's across the board. And it seems to me as though it's a male-dominated thing.
Yes.
Doesn't it? You don't. I mean, I know there are ladies out there collect stuff. The gaming mistress who we know very well. There are people out there that collect this sort of stuff. It seems to be a male thing, doesn't it?
It does in general. Yeah. Without being sexist about it.
Is it because we've got something missing in our lives?
I don't know. So I've said to you, Rob, before that when you're bidding on something on eBay, it's a little bit like that gambling thing, right? Yeah. When the counter's counting down, you're the highest bidder, there's only 20, 30 seconds left, the heart's going, the blood's racing, there's an adrenaline rush, and then you win it, right? Yeah. And then you get that euphoria of, it's mine, I've won it. And then you kind of go, parked and moved on, what's the next thing? Or that euphoria lasts maybe for a
With me, it's,
a week,
my
couple of
God,
weeks.
I've really just spent all that money. There's the housekeeping out the window, we're not going to eat for a week again.
But I do think there's that sort of addictive, almost gambling sort of addiction about it, and then you want to get onto the next one and the next one.
Absolutely.
And we like collecting and we like to add to our collection.
I think, but following on from that a little bit, it's sort of not the same thing, but it sort of is. When people turn up with the computer we've already got, if it's quite a rare computer, it's still exciting.
It's still the buzz, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So somebody turns up with,
Well, that Jupiter Ace that we got quite recently.
I was thinking this machine.
Oh, that one, which we're going to show shortly.
But when people turn up with machines that we've, even if we've got 5 of them, but it's a rare machine, it's still nice to add to the collection because. You never know whether the ones we've got work or whatever. Or, that's one thing we do need to do at some point is check the machines we've got.
Test everything.
Test everything. I mean, we've got thousands and thousands of machines we need to test, and we need to rotate them a bit more and whatever. But
that's right.
But that's just as exciting for me, and I'm sure it's exciting for you guys as well. When people turn up today and somebody's promised us a Wii U, we might be getting a Wii U.
Do you remember that time? I can't remember what it was. You might remember. Somebody rang and said, I've got a loft full of retro stuff. Come and pick it up. Didn't tell us what it was. We got there with a van, and the three of us went up in their loft, and it was like Howard Carter and the
it was mental. It was unbelievable
because we were opening boxes. Oh look, this.
Yeah. And it was.
What was that for the Einstein? We had the Spectrum emulators, little things like that. It was just.
There's such a buzz.
There's nothing like it.
It is, yeah.
Anyway,
it's the same thing, but in a slightly different vein.
Absolutely.
What a crazy world we live in.
I know.
What a crazy world.
Nuts, isn't it?
Should we move on?
Let's move on swiftly. So I wanted to talk just about this. The reason why we've got these lovely little 3DSs in front of us and a few examples of our software selection is have you guys heard that they are closing?
It's a sealed.
That's a sealed one.
Can I?
No. Although that's not that rare. That one.
No, that's not rare.
It's quite a popular one. Even I've got that one. Have you heard that they are closing the 3DS? Nintendo closing the store.
Sad. How sad.
So as I understand it, and apologies if I got the dates wrong, but I think this is right. You can still add money to your Nintendo account and purchase things until May this year, 2022.
Yeah.
And they're actually then going to close the store completely as of March 2023. So you will no longer be able to download anything for the 3DS.
All the stuff you've downloaded though.
Well, so the ones that where you need to be online for them to work, they just won't work anymore. They just will stop.
So
do they give us money back then?
No. So obviously, if you've got physical copies, then no problem.
So,
unless it needs an online.
So this is happening to that system, right?
Yes.
So what happens in like another 10 years' time? When they start turning the PlayStation servers off, or the Xbox servers off.
That's right.
So what happens then?
We've talked about what will happen to retro in the future because we can still anything that's cartridge based and has a little card like this we can still play, but anything that's kind of online or needs a back end server,
anything that's not physical, we're going to lose completely. So that's horrendous.
It's puzzling, isn't it?
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. No. I mean, looking at that wall there in front of me, them tapes are 30 plus years old.
Yeah.
and they're still there, and we can still use them
Yeah,
technically.
because they're physical, aren't they?
They're
We can
physical
still load them.
things, and we can still play that. And we pay, even if you paid £5 back in the day
Yeah.
for it, or £10 back in the day for it, we're still using it today.
For the benefit of our listeners, Andy was just we've got a lovely montage on the wall of cassettes, game cassettes.
Yeah.
And it's spelling out the word RCM, or Retro Computing Museum, and it's a lovely site. In fact, there are pictures of that on our
Yes.
website.
Yes.
Aren't they? On our website,
Yeah.
it's a physical thing.
Okay,
Physical
so
thing.
yeah, so who knows what's going to... So I would, anybody who's got a 3DS,
Yeah.
and you maybe haven't picked it up for a little while or whatever, if there's a particular game that you want, or,
Yes.
go and get it
I
now.
find that very disturbing.
Yeah.
Go and get it now. Load up your Nintendo wallet now.
Yeah.
Before you run out of time, go and download the games that you want now, because it's
And
gonna
make sure they're not
close
online games,
about-
'cause
yeah,
there's no point.
absolutely, because
Yeah.
Well, that's a joke.
and maybe people should, because you can pick up 3DS games really cheaply.
You can, yeah.
There's loads in thrift stores, charity
Yeah.
shops,
Yeah.
online, car boot sales. Go and
Mind you,
maybe,
though,
maybe
mind you,
buy
we're
a few
missing
of
something
these.
there.
Go for it.
So when people do eventually can't play things online, and they have got physical copies and they don't want to play them,
Come and visit us,
come and
'cause we've
visit
got-
us, and bring your spares to us, or bring your
Absolutely.
come and donate them to us.
Yeah,
so
because-
that will
and
work
we
for
will
us as well.
preserve them
We will look after them for
on
you.
their behalf.
There you
Okay,
go.
right. So
Excellent.
that's the 3DS. So the other piece of news was, do you remember a little while ago? In fact, it was probably about 2 years ago, and we spoke about it on our original podcast show. They were going to bring back the Intellivision, or the Amiibo. You heard about this?
Yes.
From the original creators of the Intellivision, such a
Yes.
popular system, some iconic games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They were bringing it back in the form of a new console called the Amiibo. It was going to bring everything sort of up to date.
Yeah.
They were going to do different versions of it. One was like a sort of woody version that looked a little bit like the Atari 2600, but the Intellivision version. This has had now 3 Kickstarter variants, so 3 attempts at trying to actually get it to market, and the last one has sort of failed again. I think it was
it's a
they
shame.
started it didn't raise very much money. I think people who have backed the original one have got a little bit frustrated with it. It looks, I don't know where their money's going to end up. Really disappointing, and it doesn't to me look like the Amiibo's going to happen now.
Oh wow.
It's a shame.
Although there is, I think the creators quite recently posted a video online showing an unboxing of a sort of prototype version, and it looks great. But I just wonder, I don't know, I don't want to sort of speak ill of them. Maybe it is going to come to market. Maybe it will exist, and all those backers they'll have their dreams fulfilled. But to me, I'm not sure it's going to really
Reminds
happen.
me of another Kickstarter that went a bit
Yeah.
wrong as well.
Yeah.
And there are a
absolutely.
few of them.
Oh, there
They're
is,
not
yeah,
all
yeah,
successful,
yeah,
are they?
So anybody who has put money into that, fingers crossed that it does actually happen. But if it doesn't, and tell us your thoughts. Leave some comments down below. Get in touch with us on our Twitter feed, and let us know how you feel about that. Right, let's move on to the next item of news. So anybody who's got a Spectrum Next or is waiting for a Spectrum Next, which is another Kickstarter, but we're pretty confident that's going to happen,
yeah.
because obviously they delivered first time round. It's just been delayed a little bit because of the COVID restrictions. So Level 9, who are a publisher that everybody should know from way back. Yeah. Fantastic. They did loads of sort of graphic text type adventure games, things like Lancelot, Nighthawk, Time and Magic Trilogy, Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, age 13 and 3/4. Yes, that was Level 9.
Oh, right.
Well,
Didn't know that.
all of their original titles have been converted to work on the Spectrum Next.
Yeah.
And they've updated all the graphics
Yeah.
to take advantage of. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think it's Timex mode for the
It is, yeah,
text,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then obviously the new colour palette and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
So they've all been updated, all sexy new graphics and text. They've all been zipped into a single archive. There's 19 games in there. If you go to www.indieretronews.com, I think it is, you can find the whole story, and you can find a link to the source if you want to go and
it's actually
download
free,
it.
isn't
And
it?
it's free. And
Free?
it's unofficial, but
It's unofficial, but they've had permission from the original authors or one of the original Level 9 people to actually release these games, which is
I just think that's
find
phenomenal.
that
So
fact-
anybody who's waiting for a Spectrum Next, or anyone who's emulating
Yeah.
a Spectrum Next,
It's
go
well
and
worth
get that
downloading.
and just spend hours and hours going through those classic
Absolutely,
games that
yeah,
have been updated. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Great news. Right,
Yeah,
Andy,
fantastic.
I think you're going to cover the no. I do apologise. Rob, you're going to cover the next.
me again.
Yes, it's you
Me
again, isn't it?
Okay, right, yes. So, when I did have some time having a bit of a play on the old retro games, I was playing a game called Hover Bother.
Oh man, my favourite.
Wow.
Hover Bother.
Jeff Minter.
Jeff Minter.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Hover Bother, you're driving round with a lawnmower, cutting the grass.
The dog.
And the dog's attacking you. You've got the dog attacking you, and the dog is an absolute pain in the neck. Do you know what's wonderful? You like the Chuckle Brothers, you two.
Yeah,
Anyway.
without the laughter.
Without the laughter, and without the talent. Without the
how
talent
rude,
either.
how
How rude.
rude. It's rude, isn't it?
So,
We need a big
all right,
stick
you're
to
supposed
poke
you're
it,
supposed to be
somewhere.
cutting the grass.
Yes.
Yeah. You can run over the plants and the flowers when that blasted dogs chase. Do you want to do your bit again? It's no better second time around either, is it really? Anyway, shush. So, I've been playing a game where I'm cutting the grass. I've also had a game of Cosmic Bakery.
Yes.
Comic Bakery.
Yeah.
Comic, big
Amazing.
fun.
Amazing.
Now, for those who don't know, Comic Bakery, you go around baking things. I mean, the clue's in the
In
title.
a comical way.
In a comical way. The clue's in the title. And, okay, so who's the arch nemesis? Who are you up against in
The raccoons, aren't they?
the raccoons? Can you do
I
impressions?
didn't-
Of
I
a
couldn't.
couple of raccoons here as well. I'm going to have my own back with these two. Right.
That'll do.
So,
Yeah.
so you're saying, well, where are you going with this,
Yeah, where
Rob?
you going
well,
with this, Rob? Come
I'll
on.
just take it on to one final game.
Yeah.
A final choice, Jeff Minter again,
Yes.
Sheep in Space.
Oh man.
So this time I'm flying a sheep. Flying a sheep
space?
in space. Zapping
Who
things.
Who knew?
Flying around to the point I get hungry, and then I have to eat some grass, and then I get up and I fly around again. Right. So my point is
Yes.
this. My point, I'm coming on to it now. My point is, these are games from the 80s. Look at the broad spectrum of things I'm doing here. I'm cutting grass. It's a game. I'm baking a cake. It's a game. I'm flying a sheep in space. It's a game.
As you do.
Now,
From the
like
mind of
you
Jeff
do.
Minter, yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
could have played a game where I'm brushing my teeth.
Yes.
Or I could have played a game.
Mola Mall? Yes.
Right,
Exactly.
or I
Absolutely,
could have
yeah.
played a game, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say this on YouTube because I know it's safe to.
Yeah.
Sex games. Now, if
Yes.
you've not seen sex games
On the
and
Commodore 64.
on the Commodore 64,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
a
man.
joystick breaker. I'll say no more on it.
all
I
I
could
need
have
to
been
know.
playing that as well. Haven't recently, although when the wife's out, something I do like to fiddle with my joystick.
Sam Fox.
But
Yeah. Sam Fox.
Right.
Poker.
so,
Apparently,
my point
allegedly.
to you guys is
Yeah.
modern stuff. Now, we all know Rob has got no time for PlayStation 5s, 4s, 3s, any of it. I think it's rubbish. Why is it back in the 80s you could play games of all different things? Now, go and pick up a PlayStation 5 play game. It's a simulator.
Yeah.
It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
It's an adventure-y thing. But that's it. It's gone all samey.
So again,
What's happening?
Going back to that wall.
Boring.
Going back to that wall.
We are now looking at the wall, guys.
How many genres are up there?
Oh, I don't know. 50?
You've got to be.
Oh, 100?
Hundreds, yeah.
Many.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
games that you know. Obviously, there's things like Pac-Man variants and things like that.
Yeah.
But even like games like Trans Am was a and Technician Ted. You're a little man, you go around.
Tetris.
Tetris, but there's different genres across that entire range there.
So-
So
I
back
reckon-
in the day,
Yes.
games were written in bedrooms by
Yeah.
spotty teenagers.
Yeah.
No offence meant.
Jim's got a
Anything,
bunch of
and they
them.
used
taken.
they used their imagination
Yeah.
and created games about absolutely anything. And some sold and some didn't. Nowadays, for commercial reasons, it's got to a point where it's 2 or 3 different genres.
It
And
is
that's
money.
the
It's
creativity
money
has
driven.
gone.
It's money driven.
But surely people are going
The
to get
variety
bored,
has gone.
bored of the 3 or 4 genres
That's
now.
my point.
Don't know. How many
my-
iterations of Call of Duty do we need?
Yeah,
Exactly.
or FIFA.
Call of Duty.
Or
We
FIFA.
all hate Call of Duty.
FIFA. How many? What do they change in FIFA? The name players, the names of the players.
But the games are exactly the
and
same.
the graphics change
But look,
slightly.
it's
The games are the same,
It's
aren't
money
they?
driven, and it's the same with the movies. Why we get so many Avenger films, right? And I actually happen to love them. But
Yeah, I do.
the reason why
You're
is
far
because
too old to
when
love the
I know,
Avenger games,
I know. When the bedroom
Don't look at
coders
me
were
like that.
around in the 80s,
Yeah.
they weren't looking at $1 million budgets and investment and time and everything else. Nowadays they are, right? If you're going to create a game for the PS5, you're talking about many millions of dollars
yeah.
to create that. So you've got to pitch it to the people who hold the purse strings. If you've got an existing audience, you've got an existing IP, and you know that by spending 10 million, 20 million, $50 million, you've got a guaranteed audience who are going to buy it. That's a lot easier to pitch that game, get it made, than a brand new IP. There's no audience, no one's ever heard of it.
Don't you think that's boring?
Yes.
Don't you think it's predictable?
It's
The only place that's slightly different, I guess, is Steam and things like that.
Well, you get the indie
stuff.
developers, yeah.
So there's some indie stuff out there. So I think
Papers, Please.
Well,
Right,
yeah, I think
for
we're missing something there a little bit, maybe. But you're right. The mainstream stuff is boring now.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah, I
Literally
think so.
boring.
I think so.
Whereas
For us,
for us,
absolutely,
yeah, for other people love it. I get that. But for me personally, I mean, I've not even got a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, one of the new Xboxes or anything. I've got the older PS4 and everything, but it's still, there's a couple of games on there you think. I think one of the most independent games I've played properly on the PS4 and finished it was something like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah.
Which was a walking game.
Yeah.
And it's stunning though, but it's visual. It is. You just walk around a little village, but it was something different, and that's why I think I took to that game quite well. I wouldn't play Call of Duty. No. I mean, I'll play FIFA now and again, but not really.
But if you look at the games that are grabbing the headlines right now, it's Elden Ring, right, which is, it's in the same vein of Dark Souls, and it's a first-person, RPG type.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Did you?
And is it significantly different to other games that you can buy in that genre? No, I don't think so. Really, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying it's not really pushing the boundaries. It's not really groundbreaking.
I just think. I mean, let's wrap this one up, shall we? I just think that it's very sad that this is where we've got to. Once upon a time, you go into Woolworths with your money after school, or Boots, the chemist, shops in the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen of the world, buy a game on whatever it is, get it home, and oh look, I am playing a sheep in space.
Yeah. Or a BMX simulator.
Or a BMX, or whatever. Snooker, whatever it is.
Or
whatever
darts.
It is.
Darts, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Mastertronic,
exactly, yeah.
I think so.
That's it.
So I think it's a sad well.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of that.
Well,
Shall
we need to hear what our audience thinks. I mean, do people agree? Do we think that are we happy the fact that there's fewer genres than there used to be?
Are we just boring old
Or
gits?
are we just boring silly old men who just drone on and on?
About crap.
That's probably a given.
Pretty much.
Yeah, let us know. Drop us a comment down below.
Please do.
Get in touch with us at PixelFix Podcast on Twitter. Tell us your thoughts. Let's move on before everybody falls to sleep. Right.
Yes.
Where are we going next? Andy.
Mastertronic. Should we do the
Yeah,
Mastertronic
go for the
We could
Mastertronic.
just mention Mastertronic.
Absolutely, why not?
So one of our friends, Chris, over at Fusion Books,
Yes.
he's running a Kickstarter for the Commodore 64 book of Mastertronic, and he has just announced that one of the stretch goals means the Retro Computer Museum will get some money.
Yeah, brilliant.
Which is fantastic.
That is
anyway.
very, very nice.
And
He's very supportive.
And it's certainly not the
Excellent.
first time Chris has done this.
Yeah.
We love him to bits.
And we thank him for it.
We do thank him for it. I mean, and it's a book about Mastertronic. What more could you want? It's probably going to be one of my favourite books ever, because Mastertronic for me, whether it's the 64 or any other system, but the 64 especially, the Mastertronic games on the Commodore 64 were stunning.
But they made them affordable as well.
And they make
£1.99. I could afford that with my pocket money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, it's and again, it's. I just know that visually it's going to be stunning. I can't wait to see it. To be fair, and I look forward to hopefully people will back it and we get to that stretch goal and we can
I think it's already hit the first goal.
It's hit one of the goals. So that's fingers crossed
Brilliant.
it does.
And wasn't it nice to see the Fusion Books in WH Smith?
WH Smith,
recently?
absolutely. Yeah.
Again, anybody in the UK will know there's a range of shops, newsagents, stationers called WH Smiths. And we haven't seen those kind of retro publications for 20, 30 years.
And I've just read
and they've just appeared on the
Amiga
shelves
Addict, which is another one of, if you're into Amiga in any way, shape or form, you probably already know about this, but Amiga Addict is a magazine about the Amiga, and I've heard that might be going to WH Smiths as well.
Okay.
So that's going to be quite interesting. But again, that's recommend. I recommend that. It's another good magazine.
Excellent. And Andy, why not tell us about Blank Canvas 2?
Blank Canvas
What's happening
2.
there?
So Blank Canvas 2, for those who don't know, we did an album during lockdown called Blank Canvas, and it was basically a culmination of all our friends around the world, and the musician friends that donated lots and lots of tracks
You know, I expected it to be probably 1 CD or 2 CDs maybe, and it turned out to be 3 CDs. Still available in our shop to buy, and it turned out to be quite popular. Lots of people bought it. So I decided to sort of put one together again, asked different people, got a few more people on board. Still waiting for a few songs to come in, but it will be. We're thinking of doing a launch at our next event, which is looking to be May the 7th. So hopefully we'll get a few more songs by then as well. But it looks to be quite another big one again.
It's good.
With people all around the world donating tracks.
So give us a few names of musicians that people might know.
So the people that have donated so far are, they should put me under pressure here because I've got to be careful.
Okay.
Some of them I can't say because we've got to announce it properly.
Fair
later
enough,
on.
but some of our good friends, like Soph, for example.
Sophie's donated some tracks. We've also had a guy that was a guy called Lee Aspey. I'm sure that's his name. Apologise if it's not. He basically visited the museum. I mentioned that he was listening to the music, said, I like this. And then turns out he was a musician, and he sent me a track the next day. And he only visited once. Peter Connolly will be donating some tracks as well. Our good friend Jonathan Taylor. John, he's already donated a track. We've got, there's lots and lots of various tracks coming through. There's some new people on this time as well. Including one of our volunteers, George, his dad, has donated a couple of tracks. So again, it's going to be.
But there will be some very well-known names that people will recognise from retro computing who are going to provide tracks.
Absolutely,
for us.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I understand the sensitivity about
Absolutely,
that, but we will reveal all
we will.
and when we can. So hopefully that'll be a good seller.
But it'll be definitely worth having a listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Right. What else is on the list? Should we get to our question of the month? Because I'm quite.
Oh, go on in. Yeah.
All right. So look, you guys will know that the PS3, the Sony PS3, is 15 years old this year.
Blimey.
So my question is it retro? Is this little beastie here, PS3? Is that retro or not?
Right. I've got something here. So
Go for it.
my thought is,
Yes.
technically that's 4, maybe 5 generations old,
Right.
and so to me that's retro. So, and we have got one out at the museum, but it's only plugged in, it's sort of out the way a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a main system that we feature, really. It's just there.
No. So I actually think it is got to the point now where, because it's even the model number is 2 generations old. But model-wise, there were 3 models of this.
Yeah.
But then you've got the PlayStation 4, which was several models.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5, there's been a couple of models as well.
PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro as well.
Yeah.
So this is a few generations old now.
Yeah.
So to me, it's at the point now where I would be happy to put this into the museum properly.
And you see, and I have just a different view on it, right? So when I look at people make their own rules about what they think of as retro, and so we're not the retro police. We've said it before.
No.
It's not for us to tell someone what is and what isn't. It's just an individual view.
Yep.
My individual view is, if you look at the back of the PS3, hopefully you can see that on the camera. What's that port there?
Modern, very.
Well, what
modern.
is it? It's
HDMI.
an HDMI port.
HDMI,
right?
isn't it?
And if I look in the front, these 2 ports just there, what are they?
OSPA.
USB, USB ports,
USB
right?
ports.
Now I kind of go right. So that outputs at full HDMI, right? So it's 1080.
1080.
Yeah, 1080. It's got USB.
Yeah.
And I go, is that retro for me personally? And then when I look at the fact that sorts of games and how the games look and how they play, they're not significantly different to the PS4 and the PS5.
So difficult. I mean, I think
Right?
it's on the cusp.
It is.
Yeah.
Very much
What
so.
are you saying? It's got to have an aerial in the back of it before it
yeah.
Or
It's got an
or
RF.
phono.
Yeah, it's got an RF. Needs to have an RF.
Well,
now.
yeah. I mean, I don't.
But at some point, I clearly will.
So you're
put this in the
suggesting
retro category.
then that until such times that TVs are upgraded with another form of circuitry, that will not be retro.
But the other reason this is retro as well, and what makes me think it's retro, is people give us lots of games.
Yeah,
But they don't give us PlayStation 4 games.
this is true.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
they still use- yes.
we've got quite a big collection of.
So people have retired this system.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
They've moved on.
yeah.
And same with the Xbox 360 as well, because the Xbox 360 is similar age and same sort of generations as well.
And our Xbox 360 collection is massive.
So I think, would it be fair to say, Andy, you're in the, yes, it's retro
absolutely
camp.
it is, yeah.
You're saying it's on the cusp.
I'm saying if you'd asked me 5 minutes ago, I'd have said it's definitely not retro, but because you've bored me to tears for the last couple of minutes, I think it's just tipped over the edge. I think that's now retro.
See, I don't think it's there yet. I think probably in another couple of years, maybe 5 years, I'll think of it as retro.
Your reasoning is fatally flawed if you're purely going on the adapter.
And there's only
because
one
you're
way.
saying the TV,
There's only one way
TV has got to change, evolve before that's going to become retro.
Okay, well, all right. Well, we've... okay, so maybe our listeners, podcast listeners, and our YouTube viewers, what we'd love to know what you think about this. Are you on my side of the fence where you think it's not quite retro? Are you more in Rob and Andy's camp where, yes, it's absolutely retro? Let us know what you think.
Often we agree, actually.
No.
Can I just take that back? It is definitely not retro.
No, let's agree on one thing. Come on.
No, don't want to.
Are you saying it's not retro now?
I'm trying to agree with you,
fair
so I'm going to argue with Andy.
Right. Okay, so we'll leave that one with you, folks.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. And we've got one more thing to show you, which is...
Well, just on that subject, I think when you're talking about retro, I think really it's down to an age thing. Okay. So I think...
Because I'm an old git.
I think that if you like, anything that's maybe 15 years to about 49 years old, that's retro.
Okay.
As soon as you turn 50 years, I think like you two, it becomes antique.
So Rob, are you saying, so when you, next year...
I'm saying you're antique.
No, so next year you're going to be an antique.
I think on the basis of what I've just said, I probably won't get to the point I'm going to be antique, because you're going to, you know, put me to the sword after this.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, look, that's probably enough of the PS3 then. Andy, why don't you lead us out with something quite interesting, donation-wise?
This one?
Yes. What have you got hiding underneath your trousers?
Well, nothing much. So this was donated the other day. Linda picked this up for us, to be fair, and it is a Commodore Vic-20, which is lovely in its own right. But Commodore Vic-20 is normally just there, this logo, which is on this machine in particular. It's sort of a goldy coloured.
Should we just
Vic-20.
turn it the other way around for our viewers? There we go.
There you go.
Yes.
So normally it's this logo here is normally colourful.
Yes.
And you don't see many of this with this badge on it.
See, that looks more like a Commodore 64 silver label type badge.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But the other thing is as well, it's the keys. The keys are different again, and also the power connector is one of the original power connectors, and so it's a weird one because we've got several Vic-20s, and we haven't got one that looks like this.
Can I just say, we are sounding a bit geeky.
We are, but it's a very valid point.
Yeah.
The thing is with Commodore, and it's not just the Vic-20, it's the PETs, it's the 64s. Commodore had a habit of putting together machines from bits and pieces they had knocking around in the stores. So there's lots. I mean, you take the Commodore GS and the other things like that, where they've got a keyboard from a Commodore C and they put it in a bread bin. There's lots of different variants, and it's purely down to getting things together, cost just to throw them out the shelf.
Which is sort of understandable.
I've never seen one like that.
I mean, it's got a reset button.
It's had a reset button added,
and it's made in Japan, and the serial number's 539600. So it's not.
It's not a new one, is
it?
It's
not new. No, it's sort of it's a very strange.
Sort of a Frankenstein.
Yeah,
it's been made of bits.
I mean, it does make me wonder whether it was maybe put together out of two machines, or
maybe it's a clone,
or
maybe it's a cut and shut, maybe it's an MOT failure.
But I was very pleased to receive it. It also came with a BBC Micro and an Amstrad. And quite a few games as well.
This is actually in lovely condition, is it?
I
know it needs to clean. We've only just got it, which is why we've not cleaned it.
Yeah, it's not cleaned at all. But no, it is.
But when that's cleaned up, it's not really yellowed that much.
I mean, I think that'll all clean off. I think it'll all clean up really nicely. Yeah, what a beautiful machine anyway. So it's one of the machines where, you know, when you expect to pull a Commodore Vic-20 out and it'd have the colour logo. As soon as I saw it, I went, whoa, what's that? And that doesn't happen very often these days, so excellent, great stuff.
How about you as well? I like to see a computer in its original condition.
Yes,
I mean, that's clearly not been tampered, it's not been retro bright or anything, which is another subject for another time.
It is.
Maybe next time
looks
we'll talk
to
about
me
retro brighting.
as though, you know, that's in, you know, condition befitting a computer that's 40 odd years.
40 years old. I mean, it's older than 40, isn't it? I mean, it's I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad at all, is it? Well, that's it for another episode of the show. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel. And we would love to hear from you. Drop us a comment below or get in touch with us at PixelFix Podcast on Twitter. See you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Take care. Ta-da!
Bye.
Bye.